Welcome
to episode 197 of Doctor Who Time and Space with me, Lewis Moon.
and me, Dr. Cool. Is it 197? I thought it was 198.
It's 197.
Is it? I might have written it down wrong on the list.
Yeah, you did.
197. Cool. I thought we were getting even closer than we actually are to the big epic.
Can you change
200.
that later on?
Yeah, I can change it later.
Yes.
Yeah. It's only written down.
Yes. Okay, so welcome to another episode of Doctor Who Time and Space. We're here.
197 to be exact.
We're here to deliver all of the latest news, all of the things we've been watching in Doctor Who universe, a fun feature, and occasionally a little game show if we ever have time. We're here today for a show which is broadcast 10 weeks before season 10.
Really?
Got 10 weeks to go,
10
so
weeks.
70 days.
So when you think of how long it feels like you've been waiting for this next episode,
Yeah.
it's not that far away now, is it? We're talking 2.5 months. Really,
Yeah, I
aren't we?
know.
2.5
I know.
months. So.
And I'm going to do a plan tonight of what we need to do every show before season 10. So only a few more weeks. We've been trying to fill out the last couple of years, kind of, to do loads of features.
Yep.
It's been hard, I think.
Yeah, it has. But I mean, the thing is, it's actually been made a little bit easier in the last couple of weeks because we had the very sad news last week about John Hurt. So we talked quite a lot about that. And this week we've got some fairly big news which we'll come on to
talk about that
shortly. What's actually on the show? Full stop today.
So this week we are going to be discussing our final 6-episode challenge feature for a while. And this week we will be discussing our 6 favourite Stephen Moffatt episodes.
We'll also be giving our initial thoughts on the first 3 parts of the Patrick Troughton era classic, I say classic, the War Games.
Yes, we were meant to watch 5, but problems occurred, you know. We've got some exciting Doctor Who news, which you don't want to miss. It is an unmissable show this week.
And that's probably roughly it, isn't it? I think.
Unless we have time for a game show.
But I think we've got so much news to talk about this week that we may spend quite a big chunk of time talking about it.
Yes.
Now, before we do anything else, we usually have a little bit of the show where we talk a little bit about what we've been doing during the week. Now, you had you had your birthday during the week.
I did, yes.
Which is always good for a few Doctor Who related gifts.
Yes.
So what did you get for your birthday?
Out of Doctor Who presents, I would say my main present was one of them was the Return of Dr. Mysterio.
Indeed.
This year's Christmas special of Doctor Who.
Well,
very good to have that on DVD.
As normal, you probably won't watch that until December, will you?
No, but this one's a bit different. It's not as Christmassy, but it does feel very Christmassy. Next year, I don't know. I usually watch them in order of episodes, but next time, do you think it's better to watch Christmas episodes in order of how, from least Christmassy to most Christmassy, or in order of what episodes they were appeared in?
Ooh, I don't know really.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go with the flow.
Okay.
What other ones did you get?
I got the Earth Story box set with the Gunfighters in the Awakening, which was quite a hassle.
You got it 3 times.
Yes. I got the Mask of Mandragora.
Mm-hmm.
I got some books like the Dr. Doc book, which
that looked really nifty.
It does, yeah. Did I get much else Doctor Who related?
Doctor Who related. I think those were probably the main things, weren't they? What's the have you watched any of your DVDs yet?
I've watched the Gunfighters parts 1 and 2.
What was it, a 4-parter?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it good? Because it's not a classic one, is it?
No, it
in
isn't.
terms of its rating.
I think it's quite entertaining.
Yeah, I've always liked the look of it. It's another one with Stephen in, isn't it? And,
yes, and Dodo.
Yeah. So I think it's quite good. What? Okay, so sort of birthday aside, have you been watching anything this week?
I finished Stranger Things this week.
Yep.
Very good series. I'd recommend that to anyone who's listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Very good series.
Probably your first ever delve into things of more of a horror nature, isn't it?
Suppose so, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm at that awkward age at the moment where it's hard to decide what to watch.
Yeah.
I don't really like those kids shows that much, but I can't really watch the older shows.
Yeah,
so,
no, it is an awkward age. Yeah. Anything else? Do you listen to any more of your Big Finish audio?
Oh yes, I
practice?
started a new one of those this week.
Okay,
Mistfall, which is a story with the Marshmen. It's got the Fifth Doctor alongside Tegan, Nyssa and Turlough.
Okay, that sounds good. Funny, I sort of vaguely remember from growing up. I sort of vaguely remember the Marshmen.
Yes.
But I can't remember the story. I can't even remember the name of the story.
Full Circle.
Full Circle.
It's written by the same person who wrote Full Circle.
Okay, okay. Because I quite like that one to come up in the randomizer at some point.
Yeah, I mean, when we finish the randomizer eventually, we'll be probably doing audios and stuff.
Yeah, we could do that, couldn't we? The randomizer of audios and other
Sarah
spin-offs.
Jane Class.
Yeah.
You know, by then Torchwood.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, there's plenty of life in the Doctor Who Time and Space podcast, people. We're only about a third of the way through, I think, of the full episodes, aren't we?
And they get more and more as you go on because you get a series every year. Or...
So, how long have we been doing the randomizer for now?
We have been doing it since the end of 2014. So just after season 8, we started with the Sontaran Experiment.
Was that the first thing, was it?
The Sontaran Experiment,
Okay.
Which is an okay starter. Not the best Sontaran story.
No, I do like that one though.
It is a good one.
Yeah. So that was when the randomizer was first introduced. So
we haven't watched the Time Warrior yet, have we?
Don't think we have.
No.
Not on the randomizer.
No.
We've seen it.
Yes.
Another time. But anything else to report on this little section of the show when we talk about stuff we've been doing?
I don't think so. Anything from you or?
Do you know, I was saying to you, wasn't I, before we broadcast? I've actually, for 2 weeks running, I've not actually watched telly at all. I watched a music DVD the other day, like Guided by Voices, and that's the only thing I've had on because I've just been very, very busy. That is quite long. That's about 2 hours or so.
Oh yeah.
Long. So it's a long. It was their final ever concert before they reformed, and then before they reformed a second time. So it was the final concert of their first. Wait,
who was it? Sorry.
End. Guided by Voices.
Oh yes.
An American band. That was enjoyable. Aside from that, yeah, I've honestly not. I've just not had a chance to really watch anything. There's so many things I need to get around to watching. And,
yeah.
I haven't had a chance yet.
Apart from War Games.
We'll get on to War Games a bit later on, but I've really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's not your first time watching it. Though.
No, indeed.
But you know.
So, well, if there's nothing else to report
Yes.
from a general what we've been doing side, should we go head straight to the news?
And there's some massive news this week. This week, then, as I was saying, we've got some very big news in the Doctor Who universe. We've got a very big piece of news, and then we've got 2 quite big bits of news. One rumour, which possibly is a big bit of news. Well, not really. It's some smaller news.
So the big news.
Yes.
Go for it. Launch in.
Peter Capaldi is set to leave Doctor Who in the 2017 Christmas special.
No.
Capaldi has been in the role since 2013.
In itself, that is amazing. Because it doesn't seem that long ago.
I know. He will step down as the iconic role in the 2017 Christmas special after 3 incredible series of the BBC's global hit sci-fi drama. The announcement was on Joe Wiley's BBC Two radio show the other night, and he spoke about the upcoming series this spring. He exclusively revealed that the next series would be his last.
I'm gutted by that.
I know. I mean, we've had Peter Capaldi now since season 8, and he's a brilliant Doctor.
Yeah.
One of our favourites.
My second favourite, to be fair.
Yeah,
my second favourite. No, I'm really sad about it. It's always great when you have that exciting buzz of a new Doctor.
Yes, but we'll speculate later on who we think the next Doctor will be. There's a lot of possibilities. There's, possibilities this time more than ever probably that we could have a woman in the role for the first time, which we'll talk about what we think about that concept. I mean, we've discussed it a lot of times.
I think we have, yeah.
But we're going to focus on it mainly on later on in the news.
Yeah.
Peter said that one of the greatest privileges of being Doctor Who is to see the world at its best. From our brilliant crew and creative team working for the best broadcaster on the planet, to the viewers and fans whose endless creativity, generosity and inclusiveness point to a brighter future ahead. I can't thank everyone enough. It's been cosmic.
It has been cosmic.
Yes. So Capaldi was on there. Oh no, I don't want that. Please don't play that. That's later bit of news. Capaldi was unveiled to the nation as the 12th Doctor during a special live television event on BBC One. Do you think we're going to get that again this year?
Do you think it worked or not, that? I think they might do something. I mean, on the basis of the fact they even did something small scale like that with the new companion, I'd imagine we'll get something, definitely.
Yeah.
I think we will. Yeah.
Peter's Time Lord has been much loved and critically acclaimed, with Series 9 featuring some of the best reviewed performances and episodes of recent series. In particular, his anti-war speech in the Zygon inversion and his solo appearance in The One-Handers Heaven Sent have been widely acclaimed as among the finest performances by anyone in the role as the Doctor. Under his reign as the show, it has expanded globally. He took the series on a world tour and has drawn record ratings in BBC America, Canada and Latin America. The highly anticipated 10th series returns to our screens on Easter Saturday after a year's break. First, before we move on to Peter Capaldi, we did get that as well, that April 15th we'll see the premiere of season 10.
Yeah.
So that's 10 weeks away from now.
Yeah.
What do you think that's a good date?
Ideal, isn't it? So that's the Easter weekend, isn't it?
It's returned now. The first 7 series was shown on Easter, premiered on Easter Saturday. So it's going back to tradition, but there may be some news which may counteract that later on. But it's quite good how it's returning to its tradition. I prefer it in the autumn when it's dark, but I suppose, it's a family show. If it's returning to where it originally from, maybe it's returning to more of its roots.
Would you prefer... Because, Moffatt's messed around quite a bit with the formula over the years, hasn't he? He's done sort of like 1-part series, he's done 2-part series, he's done the whole thing of splitting the series physically into 2.
Yeah.
So you get sort of half a series, then a break, and then the second half of the series. What is the format that you like best?
Well, in Series 10, we are getting probably 10 one-part stories with a 2-part finale, and then a Christmas special.
Is that definitely got a 2-part finale?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I know it has been that way, isn't it, of late?
Yes, but I guess it'll be Series 8 formatting, but I would like to see... I preferred Series 9 format. I like 2-parters, because someone said before, they sort of expand the story. You have enough space. Yeah. I mean, sometimes, usually, the second part isn't as good as the first, as found in most stories.
Yeah, actually, I would go as far as to say every single one, bar, for me, the Davos one. I much preferred The Witch's Familiar than The Magician's Apprentice.
Because of the tank scene.
Yeah, I hate the tank scene.
Yes, but what format do you think you would prefer?
I much prefer. I like the 2-parters. I think I like it when it's all in one bulk.
Yes.
And there's the advantage of the 2-part series thing is that you don't have to wait so long for the next bit, but also that it goes very, very quickly. I mean, if I think outside of Doctor Who, and I think, what do I prefer? Do I prefer the way that they run Game of Thrones, which is historically anyway, they've had 10 episodes, or do I prefer the way Walking Dead do it, where they have, whatever it is, about 16 episodes overall a year.
Yeah.
But they do it in 2 blocks of 8.
I think I'd prefer Walking Dead in format. I don't know why.
Yeah, see, I
don't watch it, but...
I like to watch it all in one big go, because I hate it when the series ends.
Yeah, but there's more episodes.
Yeah, there is that. There is that more episodes thing. But I don't know.
So, Peter Capaldi's final series also marks writer and executive producer Stephen Moffat's last, so he promises for it to be an unmissable event television. For years before I ever imagined being involved in Doctor Who or had ever met the man, I wanted to work with Peter Capaldi. I could not have imagined that one day we'd be standing on the TARDIS together. Like Peter, I'm facing up to leaving the best job I'll ever have, but knowing I do so in the company of the best and kindest and cleverest of men makes the saddest of endings a little sweeter. But hey, it's a long way from over. Peter's amazing, fiery, turbulent Doctor is still fighting the good fight, and his greatest adventures are yet to come. Monsters of the universe, be on your guard. Capaldi's not done with you yet. Peter will be joined in season 10 by new companion Paul McKee, played by Bill, and also Matt Lucas, who plays Nardole.
You got that the wrong round though. I didn't realise that.
Played by Bill. New companion Bill, played by Paul McKee.
Yeah.
And Matt Lucas, who plays Nardole. With guest appearances to come from David Suchet and Michelle Gomez. He has starred alongside Jenna Coleman as his companion Clara Oswald, Alex Kingston as River Song, Ingrid Oliver as Osgood, as well as Keeley Hawes, Tom Riley, Frank Skinner, Maisie Williams, Jovian Wade, and many more.
Do we know whether... So it's a little bit of an aside, but do we know whether Osgood's reappearing in this series?
Not yet.
No confirmation? What about Kate Stewart?
Not yet.
Okay. Be interesting. I would be surprised if they're not.
Do you think they should be in the final or something?
Maybe.
Or?
Yeah.
They haven't filmed the final yet, so maybe they will.
Or maybe we'll see them come up in the final.
That's what I think either. Yeah. Peter's Doctor has also fought Daleks and Davros, Cybermen, Zygons, and new monsters like the Veil and old foes the Time Lords. Capaldi will return in the next series for 12 episodes on April the 15th, followed by the Christmas special where his regeneration will take place and Stephen Moffat will leave the show. I just wanted to say about Pearl McKee here, aka Bill.
Yeah.
Do you think that, because I think my theory is Bill will probably leave in the season 10 finale. Or I hope she does.
Yeah.
Maybe she makes a cameo in the Christmas one or something. I hope she'll be a one serious companion.
I think she'll be in the Christmas one as well.
Do you? And then
but I don't think she'll. I don't think she'll follow into the new.
No, but do you think she'll leave in the Christmas one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, I hope she doesn't, because then it's probably going to be 60 minutes where everyone leaves. Like the RTD one, they did a 2 hour, over 2 hours worth of saying farewell to people.
Yeah.
You know, but
yeah. And that was pretty much just the final David Tennant says goodbye scene.
Yeah.
What do you think? So I mean, it's very big news really, because
it is.
We're both big Capaldi fans.
We are,
we?
yes.
What do you think this means for Doctor Who? Do you think it's for the best that the new showrunner can start with his own Doctor?
I actually expected this to come, because I think it is for the best. I think Chibnall wants to make it a new, fresh show, much like Stephen Moffat did when he came in.
Yeah.
David Tennant had left, Donna had left, the showrunner had left, so now it was time for him to set a new Doctor, new companion, new adventures, and a new feel, a new tone. And I think that's what Chris Chibnall will try to do. I really don't know whether Chibnall will make it a lighter, more light-hearted series like some of his episodes, or another dark series like, say, Broadchurch.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see.
We will have to wait and see, but I can't see it being anything other than a lighter series than what we've had.
Yeah, I don't think it will be as light as what we're going to see in Series 10. Because we're getting emoji monsters.
Yes.
Well, it will be another interesting thing to speculate on how Capaldi will regenerate, who will take over, what's going to happen next. When do you think we'll find out?
I would suggest probably in the summer.
Yeah,
point.
like last time we found out in August or July, I can't remember.
I think we'll probably see the whole of this series finish.
Yeah.
In terms of sort of being broadcast, and then when they're sort of filming the Christmas special sort of thing.
Imagine if in the final they have a little cameo involving, like they did in Day of the Doctor, a little cameo where they announce it. I don't think that would happen.
No.
I always say stupid things like this, guys.
No, I don't think we will. I don't think we'll see anything until after they've walked out. I think they want the series to go on its own. In fact, I'm surprised in many respects that Capaldi's even announced it at this stage. But I guess it gives them plenty of time then to start searching for the new Doctor.
Jenna Coleman announced the day before season 9 aired that she was going to leave, which gave us a massive show on that week, because we had to discuss hell of a lot of news, because we had all of the episode titles as well as her leaving announcement, and we also had all the season 9 preview, and that was a massive show, mammoth show.
So, can I ask you a few things about Capaldi?
Yeah.
What do you think people will think in future of Capaldi's era? What do you think, both positive and negative, what do you think he's left us? He's
been brilliant, I just think. I think he's left us episodes like Heaven Sent, Mummy on the Orient Express, the Zygon Invasion version, all classics, Listen and stuff. We've got pure classics, so his performances are great.
Yeah.
And, he's left those ones. But also, people won't look fondly on not necessarily him, but some of Stephen Moffat's writing for the show.
Yeah, which I think is a shame as well. I still struggle with why people have got such an issue with Stephen Moffat. I just cannot see it, because I still look at all these episodes that you just mentioned. I know he hasn't written all of those. But a big chunk of those best episodes are ones that were written by Stephen Moffat.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people have such a problem with the direction he's taken the show in. I think sometimes the thing that narks people is when he messes with the history, isn't it?
Yeah.
But at the same point, is he really messing with it? I mean, is he messing with it any more than people have done historically? Maybe a little bit more, but
yeah.
That sort of thing's happened all the time, isn't it? Different showrunners have just put their own take on it all.
Yeah.
So so that's interesting. I think I was going to ask you about who do we think is going to come in and replace him. Do you want to do that?
I've got some things here.
Fire away with
These
that.
are for Doctor TV. These are 13 of the most likely candidates for a new Doctor.
Okay.
First we have Ben Whishaw.
Okay.
Then we have Richard Ayoade, which both of those I think would be really good candidates.
Who's the first one again? So
he was the guy from James Bond.
Oh yeah, he does look doctorish, yeah.
Both of those are very doctorish sort of people.
In terms of the first one, the guy from the James Bond film,
yeah,
I just get a feel of him being a bit too Matt Smith-like.
Yeah, I'd like to see Richard Ayoade actually. He's my personal favourite to be the Doctor.
I think he would be fun. I think he would be a really fun one.
I think he should be the Doctor. I think he looks very doctorish. He's great in the IT crowd.
I think it could bring a bit of the sort of fun. I know we're not a big lover on that many of the stories, but it would bring a bit of the fun that we had with, say, Sylvester McCoy's Doctor to it. But in a more better serious setting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would be really good to see him as a Doctor.
Plus, he's a big fan, isn't he?
He is. So I think, yeah.
That would
and
be good.
Fans have been often often people who take over the roles.
Just as a very slight aside, because we like asides on this show, maybe you should do a poll of a number of these people and find out on Twitter who people think should replace Peter Capaldi.
Maybe I should.
Maybe you should. Maybe if you look out, folks, it may be there soon.
Maybe. So, also, Olivia Colman is another prediction.
I can't think who that is.
She appeared in Broadchurch, actually.
That's interesting, yeah.
And she also appeared in The 11th Hour as the Atraxi person.
Okay.
Rory Kinnear.
Okay.
Don't know who that is.
No.
So, Rupert Grint.
Okay, so that's the guy from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
He'd be quite an interesting one, actually.
He would, yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting. I can picture him as the Doctor, funnily enough, in a weird way, because he's very different than anything we would have had before.
I know, he is. We've never had... The Doctor's always wanted to be ginger.
Well, that's a good point, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah, I like that.
James Norton.
Uh-huh.
Laura Pulver.
Okay.
Andrew Scott.
Right.
Who's Moriarty from Sherlock.
Okay.
Ben Daniels.
Yeah.
Jason Fleming. Russell Tovey, who previously appeared as Alonzo Frame, but also Being Human's one of his.
Oh yeah, he would be very good actually.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very good in Being Human. I can imagine him as well, and he'd bring a completely different style to it. Yeah, no, that would work. He was talked about last time. I remember.
Was he?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Sacha Dhawan, who appeared in An Adventure in Space and Time.
Okay.
And Reece Shearsmith, who's from Sleep No More.
And again, he would be quite an interesting.
Is very interesting.
Doctor, yeah. But he may be too along the same lines of Capaldi. I would think. Might be wrong. Who would you of those people there? Which ones jump out at you?
Richard Ayoade.
Mhm.
Ben Whishaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reece Shearsmith would be quite interesting.
Yeah, there was one other that I thought was the guy from Being Human. I'd really like him. I think for me, if I was picking two out of that list, I think I would probably go for those two.
These two? No.
The guy from the IT crowd and the guy from Being Human.
Okay.
And maybe Rupert, whatever his name is from Harry Potter.
Female Doctor then. Idea.
Well, first of all, the question then.
Let's post
it gets
the
talked
poll.
about a fair bit, the whole idea of having a female doctor. I think it's probably been fair to say that over the years, neither of us have really supported that, which is not by any means a sort of sexist view.
No,
it's just purely
worried.
It's because of the fact that the Doctor's always been this sort of male character, isn't it? But I'm getting the feeling that
there's a Twitter poll released now. It's and it's what gender should be in the next Doctor.
Okay, so there you are, folks. It's live on Twitter via which account?
At the Yahoo Time and Space.
So possibly, I'm probably more open to a female Doctor now than I've ever been.
I think it would be interesting, but I think it has to be a very good writer. Because if you think about it, you have to commit at least 12 episodes to writing to this person.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we've had interesting comments. Someone said last week, but they said that there should be we don't know whether Chris Chibnall will bring in a new bunch of writers as well.
Yeah. Well, there seems to be this whole thought, doesn't there, that he's going to adopt this sort of American.
Yes.
I've forgotten the phrase they use now, but it's
writers' room.
Yeah, something like the writers' room, isn't it? Where they all contribute to the stories collectively and stuff, which is interesting. Obviously, works very well for American stuff. I'm a little bit. I don't know. I think if I was a writer for Doctor Who, I wouldn't want anyone else putting their grubby mitts on my story.
Do you think Mark Gatiss will continue to contribute to the show?
I think if he goes down that route, then it'd be a complete fresh set of writers.
Yes. Apart from Chibnall, who's wrote a few stories before.
Yeah.
And Jamie Matheson.
Well,
please don't say goodbye to Jamie Matheson.
Looking at the episodes that Chibnall has contributed so far, there isn't that many classics in there, so I hope he has got other people writing them with him.
It's just him.
Sorry, Chris, I don't mean that harshly. They're not bad everywhere.
No, there are a couple I like.
There ain't no classics, though, I'm afraid.
No. Sorry.
Okay, so I mean, if we were talking about a female Doctor, what sort of people would you think could take on that role?
Female Doctor.
Mm-hmm.
We've got here two predictions that Olivia Colman or Laura Pulver would appear.
I've seen something talking about Gemma Whelan, who is in Game of Thrones, playing Theon's sister.
I think that it has to be someone good to portray that role as well as a good writer to do it, or a good set of writers to do it. We need a good actress, and it can't be someone like has been rumoured a couple of times before.
Yeah.
Miranda Hart.
No.
Or Catherine Tate.
I'm either of those. Just the whole thought of them just makes me come out in a horrible.
I'd rather have Catherine Tate than Miranda. I don't mind Miranda as a show, but she'd be horrible as a Doctor. No offence.
I don't like the show, and I don't find her funny. I find her quite irritating. And as anybody that listens to the show knows, I find Catherine Tate really irritating. And I don't think if we're going to change it to a female Doctor, I think we should go for one that's going to really challenge our perception of female lead roles.
Yes.
I don't think the things I don't want from a female Doctor, one, I don't want them being really comedy-like.
Yeah.
Not straight away, maybe next time when you have another female Doctor, fair enough.
But the first time they need to be someone serious.
But it's pretty serious. And also, I don't want them to be a big heartthrob sort of character.
No.
I think that'd be really stereotypical if you've got like a sexy female Doctor. I think you want somebody that's going to really, really challenge it and be quite gritty.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's not right for this time because we've already had a Doctor which is quite dark.
Yeah.
Maybe it's right for the time afterwards. We think that it may be a non-white Doctor.
Yeah, sort of an ethnic one, I think.
Yes.
would make sense, just because that way it's beginning to bring in a bit more diversity.
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Sorry.
I know exactly what you mean. I think the world is quite. We're trying to be far more diverse, I think, and therefore I can see that they may do that, which would be good. And, you know, for instance, the IT crowd guy we talked about earlier on, didn't we? That'd be really good. I think I probably agree with you. I think they'll probably go for a male ethnic Doctor before they go for a female Doctor.
I think next time we'll have a female Doctor. Maybe not this time, but the chances are high than they've ever been.
Yeah, no, indeed. Anything else to talk about with? I'm really gutted about Capaldi going. I was hoping that he was going to break the mould of Doctors doing 3 series.
They've done it all. Every single Doctor has done that.
Yeah, I was hoping he was going to break that mould. I know he's not a young guy, but in a way that makes it easier because it's not like with a young actor coming into the role, they're always going to be very conscious about everybody stereotyping them as the Doctor. Now, I imagine if it's someone like Matt Smith, as soon as you see Matt Smith, you immediately think of the Doctor.
Me too. When I look at, like, say, The Crown, when I see a picture of him from that, you just think it's the Doctor.
Yeah, no, that's right. And I don't think. I think everybody that plays the Doctor gets it to a certain extent, but I don't think you'll get that so much with an older one like Capaldi, because they've already got quite a wealth of material under their belt.
Matt Smith didn't really do much before.
I don't know what he had done before. I hadn't even heard of him before.
No. Well, should we move on, or do you have anything to talk about?
I think that's probably enough.
Yeah. That was a long news article.
I'm sad to see Capaldi go. I think it's probably, however much I don't personally want him to go, I think he is synonymous with people's perception of Doctor Who at the moment.
Yeah, people. It's not that much. Definitely in the UK, it's not as much success as it used to be. In America, it's really successful now. More successful than it's probably ever been.
And that in itself, that's odd though, because I would think that Capaldi's Doctor is less friendly to the non-UK audiences than any of the others. But I guess the show, I mean, for any criticism that people level at Stephen Moffatt, selling the show isn't one of them, is it? Because he's obviously done very well in breaking it more and more to sort of foreign audiences. So, do we have other news as well then?
I don't think we do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What? No! Why did I say I don't think we do?
I was going to say, I thought you had a
No, we have loads of news. Sorry.
News. So
we're 37 minutes in and we're 38 minutes in or something.
Yeah, but this is going to be the news show today.
Yeah. Well, next news. The Ice Warriors then. The Ice Warriors are going to be returning.
Yes.
For season 10.
Yes.
The Ice Warriors will return in season 10 of Doctor Who, as has now been confirmed. They will appear in episode 10 of the new run, which is going to be written by Mark Gatiss.
No.
Of course, Gatiss wrote the first Ice Warrior story for the modern era back in 2013 with the fairly well-received Cold War. Gatiss teases that a new kind of Ice Warrior will debut this time around.
I say no, and I was only joking just because of people's perception of Mark Gatiss as a Doctor Who writer of late. But I know he has done a few type episodes, but I think actually Gatiss, I would still rather have Mark Gatiss the showrunner for Doctor Who moving forward than Chibnall, because I think give him a remove the constraints of another showrunner, and I think Mark Gatiss has shown us time and time again with things that he's got a very good imagination, and you can see it going off in some really interesting ways.
But it will be interesting to see Chris Chibnall. It's such a shame, isn't it, how we will not see Chibnall contribute a story to Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see another showrunner have a go. That's why I'm disappointed that Capaldi, in many ways, despite what I said just a minute ago about him being synonymous with the current style of Doctor Who, I would like to have seen him given the chance to work with another showrunner to see how that changes his portrayal.
Yes. Well, 2018 will be the 55th anniversary of Doctor Who. Do you think there'll be anything for Chibnall that he'll do to celebrate it as some sort of thing? Not like as big as Day of the Doctor, but some sort of episode which celebrates it.
I don't think they will. No. I think
we'll have to wait till year 60.
Yeah, I think that is what will happen. And I think that's the way it should be, actually.
Yes.
10-year anniversary. Otherwise, because time goes so quick, particularly when you get gap years.
Yes. Well, Ice Warriors, do we have anything to say about that then?
I'm glad to see the Ice Warriors.
Me too.
And I thought Mark Gatiss did a good job of bringing them back. Even though we only saw the one last time. I thought he did a good job of bringing them back. I'd be quite interested to see them return not as villains again, like we saw them in
Curse of Peladon.
I think that would be quite interesting to see another side to them, because they're certainly not as evil as, say, the Daleks or the Cybermen.
They're not. They're not totally evil.
No. Okay.
Anything else about that?
No, I think you can move on.
Okay, so some fans have assumed that the season 10 delay would re-establish a consistent yearly spring broadcast schedule for Doctor Who, as seen with the first several series of the modern era. However, rumours swirling this week following Capaldi's departure announcement suggest Series 11 will not begin filming until early 2018 for broadcast in the autumn of 2018, meaning another lengthy gap for fans, with only the 2017 Christmas special to break things up.
That's so unfair.
We've waited since the end of 2015 to since we've got season 9, and for Doctor Who fans, this is just such a shame, because we've got to wait about the same amount of time. I was thinking, first of all, and you thought that as well, that it won't be as long a wait as last time, but it will be.
Will it? Yeah?
Yeah, technically.
Oh, God, don't do this to us. That is disappointing, isn't it? I personally, I know you said that you tend to like the autumn runs more than anything else, but I quite like having Doctor Who in the spring.
I like it in the dark.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, I can see where you're coming from, but I mean, particularly if it's got a sort of lighter edge, then I don't think that really makes much difference. So I quite like it. Although having said that, I guess from a TV watching perspective, ordinarily Walking Dead's that time of the year, Game of Thrones that time of the year, so a lot of the programmes I like are at the same sort of time of the year, so I guess if Doctor Who's in the autumn, it fills that gap a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we know that Chibnall's apparently been busy right now, and he hasn't been able to start yet on the show, as he's focusing on season 3 of Broadchurch at the moment. So it is also understood that Chibnall is keen to leave Stephen Moffatt and Peter Capaldi as much freedom as possible to make their final series of Doctor Who unhindered, according to key figures on the show. Chibnall added that after Broadchurch airs, he plans to take a holiday before beginning work in earnest on Doctor Who. According to sources, the search for a new Doctor will be completed in the autumn, and the new Time Lord will appear in an on-screen regeneration when Capaldi leaves the role in the 2017 Christmas special. Wouldn't it be great to see for it to not be revealed until the Christmas special who the next Doctor would be?
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen. Though.
It isn't gonna happen.
There will be a big fanfare about it. But I completely agree with you. There would be something fantastic if you were watching that episode, waiting for the regeneration, and you know.
But probably, knowing my luck, it would pop up on something just before I watch it.
Yeah, I think it's always going to be revealed, but it would be exciting, I think.
So.
What, can I just ask you something?
Yeah.
What's your take anyway then on? And this probably links in more closely with the previous item we had about Capaldi's leaving, but what's your views on the whole thing of Christmas special and regeneration?
I don't like it. I think we need space. We need a whole story. Time of the Doctor didn't work really, because I like Time of the Doctor as an episode.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's not. It fits too much into that 60 minutes. I think we should have some sort of, 2 45-minute episodes, one on Christmas Day, one on New Year's Day.
I'll tell you what would be an interesting way to do it. I don't think they've ever done it like this before.
What?
Correct me if I'm wrong. No, actually they did do it once. Twice. They have done this before. And I should explain. Now I should explain what I'm on about. It'd be quite an interesting concept if an episode started, the first episode of the new run started with the regeneration.
Yes.
And I guess they have done that before, because they did that with the change into Sylvester McCoy.
And Eccleston, do you mean?
And the other one I was thinking of was in the Doctor Who movie, where...
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah.
Sylvester McCoy into Paul McGann. But in both cases, that's fairly circumstantial, because I guess with the move from from Colin Baker into Sylvester McCoy, it was because they'd sacked Colin Baker, so they hadn't necessarily intended, I guess.
No.
When they made the last episode with Colin Baker, that was going to be his last episode. Similarly, with Paul McGann and the movie, at that point they didn't know it was ever going to come back anyway, did they?
No, they didn't. So they didn't make him regenerate.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting to see what happens with all of this. So should we move on to our final bit of news?
I think we should, yeah.
Because we're almost 50 minutes into the show and we haven't gotten to our main article.
No? Okay.
Class Episode 7, The Metaphysical Engine, or What Quill Did, aired this week, and it had an audience of 0.76 million viewers for its debut on BBC One, according to the unofficial figures. A share of 8% of the total TV audience. The rating was fractionally up on the overnight figures for last week's episode. The programme was outrated by BBC Newsnight on BBC Two, which had 0.79 million, but it beat Through the Keyhole on ITV, which had 0.65 million.
Okay.
The series concluded with episode 8, The Lost, which followed at 11:35 p.m. and had an audience of 0.26 million, a share of 4.7% of the audience.
That's just such a stupid time. I know we said it every week, but for the big finale of the series to be on at that time of night, it's just rubbish.
I know. This episode was beaten in its time slot by Hospital on BBC Two with 0.33 million, and marginally by The Chase on ITV, which also had 0.26 million. Consolidated ratings for episodes 3 and 4 are also out, for details for those who watched and recorded it within a week. Episode 3, Night Visiting, got 0.79 million viewers as a consolidated figure.
Yep.
But the average for the time slot is very low, with 1.85 million viewers. The programme won the time slot with BBC Two's Newsnight getting 0.69 million watching. Additional 0.29 million have accessed the episode on iPlayer since its release on BBC Three last October. Colonel Lonely Heart followed immediately afterwards, starting at 11:31pm, and has a consolidated audience of 0.34 million watching, a share of 5.2% of the audience. The channel average for the time slot, though, is 0.82 million. Around 250,000 have accessed the episode on iPlayer.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really got too much to add to that, really. I'd only be talking the same old thing of, what on earth what are you doing, BBC? Why?
Why?
Why is it a late slot? I'll just say this one thing about it. I still can't work out why they put it on BBC One at that time of night. Why don't put it on BBC Two slightly earlier?
Yeah. 9 o'clock, BBC Two.
Yeah, that would have been...
Monday.
That would have been fine. That would have been
if not, Mondays and Tuesdays at 9.
That would have been fine, because I cannot see that they are hitting the right audience for that programme at that time of night.
They are not. No, not really many people would want to watch it at that point.
Because you're talking about young adults, and by young adults in the context of that programme, I would think are your sort of age. They're sort of like 13 upwards, I would think.
Yes.
What rating has it got for the DVD? Do you know?
What?
Class as a
15, I think.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But you were saying about the 13s thing, but we don't want to go into all of that.
No, I won't go. Yeah, let's not go into that now. Okay.
That's the end of the news. That was a long news.
It was a long news. Probably our longest news for some time.
Yes. So
we did have the Capaldi thing. There is something I want to ask you again about Capaldi.
I have got the poll results in the sec as well.
Okay. Can I just ask you briefly? I mean, on the basis that we haven't got a proper review this week because we're watching the War Games and it's really, really long.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, Peter Capaldi, too good, too bad?
Ooh, are we doing a War Games review? Should we drop in a little bit of comments?
We'll just touch very slightly on the War Games, but not too much.
Too
good, too bad. Two good things about Peter Capaldi, two bad things about Peter Capaldi's era rather than Capaldi himself.
He delivered the first ever solo episode with just him, with Heaven Sent.
And I think as the second one there, I think just full stop, the class that he's brought as an actor, I think he has been absolutely phenomenal.
Yes.
Even in the episodes where the episodes haven't been that great, Capaldi has been brilliant. His dialogue has been fantastic. You look at the Zygon inversion. You look at this great chat that he had with Maisie Williams in The Woman Who Lived. He has just been a different class, I think.
He has, yeah.
Too bad.
I'd say some of the writing hasn't been that great for a few stories. I'm not saying most, but a few. Maybe Robot Sherwood, In the Forest of the Night and Sleep No More are the ones that jump out at me.
Okay, and I would say, just by very nature, this is I don't agree with this, but I think it probably is the case. By very nature of him being a lot older, I think it is, and because of the style that has been adopted for his era, I think it has turned a lot of the younger generation away from Doctor Who.
It has, yeah.
So that's our too good, too bad Peter Capaldi
Yes,
era.
let us know that. We'll post a little thing to ask you about that later on.
Okay.
I've got a poll here. The results so far. Which gender should be the next Doctor? 29% say that it should be a female Doctor, and 71% say it should be a male Doctor.
Okay. Interesting stuff.
So, majority for male, but still a few votes for women. So.
Okay. Interesting. Okay, well, should we, on the basis of the fact that it's near the end of the show already, should we go into our main item, which is obviously isn't our main item today because we've talked about our main item already for 50 minutes.
So now we are going to do our 6-episode challenge for the Mothball era. The Mothball. So the concept of 6-episode challenge. This week it's our final week doing this. And we've been doing it for the last few weeks now. And basically what we do, we go through each era, starting from the 60s, going to the 2010s. And we pick out our 6 favourite episodes each. And then we have to challenge each other on them. Then we have to come up with a definitive 3 from the list that we think are the best. And a definitive 1, which we think will win. Which I think we'll argue on this one a bit more than last week. But I'll run down that in the 60s we said that it was Power of the Daleks, that one.
Yeah. In the 70s we said it was Genesis of the Daleks.
In the 80s we said it was Kate of Androzani.
In the last one we said it was Blink.
And we don't know what this time will be, so...
Before we go on, I mean, you usually reveal your 6 first of all. My prediction on this is that I think our top 6 will be the same, bar 1. Okay? That's my prediction. Because I think that 5 of these speak for themselves. But let's see what happens, shall we? Your top 6 of the Stephen Moffat era.
Day of the Doctor.
Uh-huh.
Vincent and the Doctor.
Yeah.
The Zygon Invasion.
Yeah.
The Name of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Mummy on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
Heaven Sent and Hell Bent.
Yeah. My prediction is correct.
Is Name of the Doctor the one that's not?
I have got for mine Day of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Heaven Sent.
Yeah.
Vincent and the Doctor.
Yeah.
Name of the Doctor.
Yeah.
Mummy on the Orient Express.
Yeah.
And Listen. So I've not got the Zygon Invasion.
It surprises me Name of the Doctor's in your list as well.
No, I really like Name of the Doctor.
Yeah, it is very good.
Yeah, I really, really like it.
The beginning and the ending.
It's predominantly the beginning and the ending that make it for me.
Yeah.
But I really love the scene with the Whispermen.
Oh yeah, no, that is great with River Song and the past Paternoster gang.
Yeah, I really like that scene. So, I was right because I thought that was going to be your 6. I'd actually guessed your 6 correctly.
Okay, I wouldn't have guessed Name of the Doctor would be in yours.
Yeah, what would you have thought I would have had Zygon Invasion?
No, because I know you don't think that's as good as me. I
do really like it though.
Yes.
That would probably be my 7th one.
I knew you'd have Day of the Doctor, Vincent, Mummy and Heaven Sent.
Yeah.
I've counted Heaven Sent and Hellbent as the same here.
Yeah, I haven't because collectively I possibly wouldn't have them in my top 6 as a joint one.
Yes. Well, I've put them both in there because they kind of class as two-parter, but Heaven Sent's probably better. Yeah,
perhaps
it probably
if you could.
There are a lot of things that are bad about Hellbent.
Perhaps if you could run through and explain in the time that we've got here why you've chosen the things that you have.
Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary special. It had Matt Smith, David Tennant, John Hurt, brilliant. Tom Baker scene.
Tom Baker scene is the best ever seen in Doctor Who, in my opinion.
The bit at the end with all of the Doctors in the cloud.
Yeah.
It's Zygons, Daleks. You know, it's got everything a Doctor Who story needs. It is brilliant.
I think that. I mean, the only sort of I agree. It's brilliant, and it's in my top 6 as well. The only bit I'm not too keen on is the Queen Elizabeth bit.
I don't like that bit either. It's the only bit that stops it from beating Genesis, in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Vincent and the Doctor, I just think is very clever. And most of the reason why it's in there is just that ending sequence where he visits the museum. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful, and it does make you cry. Definitely the first time you watch it.
I really like that, but I think you're right. It's if you took that end sequence off of it, it wouldn't be a classic, would it?
No. But do you think it's quite emotional? That sequence?
Yeah, I do. I think it's very good. And I really like the way the actor that played
Tony Curran.
Yeah, that played Vincent. I thought he was brilliant as Vincent.
He is, yeah,
Really
very good.
Yeah.
I've got the Zygon Invasion version. I love it. Return of the Zygons, which are my favourite, or one of my favourite villains of the Doctor Who history. I think that it's got unit. It's got some brilliant shocks. Peter Capaldi, in one of his best roles, in that anti-war speech.
Yeah.
He's brilliant in that. And Jenna Coleman, I would say this is her standout story. Definitely playing Bonnie. She plays a villain very well.
She does, actually. She's very good. I think it's her finest performance. I think she was always very good, actually. I think
she was,
even in times when you could be quite critical of Clara as a companion, I don't think you can ever blame Jenna Coleman.
You can blame the writing.
Yeah.
Name the Doctor. Talked about this earlier. I love, the beginning where all of the Doctors are in it, where Clara goes through the timeline. Love the end where John Hurt's revealed. And, the Whispermen stuff. It's a very good finale to season 7. And a good lead up to the 50th.
Yeah.
Mummy on the Orient Express. It's just a fantastic idea and concept. And I think that it's just the Mummy, the Foretold, very cool. Very good concept. And it's a very good story. And one of Capaldi's defining performances.
I think actually, to me, that episode has the feel of classic Who about it.
Yeah, it is for some reason the one I would recommend to people to start watching Doctor Who.
Yeah, and I'd agree actually. I think it's very good, very strong.
Heaven Sent is the Doctor on his own.
Yeah.
Peter Capaldi, possibly in his finest performance. Watching that story, that it's a shame to see him leave.
Yeah. No.
It's just brilliant.
Is that your 6?
Yes.
I mean, if I just add in my other one, because I haven't got the Zygons, even though I love that story.
Yeah.
I've got Listen instead, which I just think I've only watched Listen once, but I think as a one-time view, it's just got so much suspense in it. The whole sequence when you've got that figure in the bed and you can't see what it is.
That is just fantastic.
I know not everybody likes it, but I think the whole scene with Clara at the end when she's there with the Doctor as a baby, I think is a really, really great scene.
Yes.
I really like that a lot. Very clever, the fact that it's a story without a monster in it.
I know,
effectively.
it is very good. Or a villain.
I still want to know a bit more about who the spaceman is. That is from that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I wonder whether that's something which I think we talked about doing an item on this at some point, didn't we? Of the unresolved.
Yeah, I just have to fit in our timetable.
Yeah,
we've got
unresolved things.
We've got about 6 or 7 more articles that we can do that are non-season 10 related.
Yeah, I'd be inclined in many ways to do this one after season 10 when we where it may well introduce other things that are unresolved, and perhaps then we should then have a unresolved what needs to be resolved by the Christmas special.
Okay, yeah.
So very briefly before we get on to trying to agree the top 3 and then the top 1, conscious of time here, but I didn't have too much by way of challenges to that because I was pretty sure I knew what yours were going to be, and if I was going to challenge your list with anything, it would have been with Listen probably.
And Listen is in my runners-up list that I always do. I'll read that out when you've stopped challenging.
But my notable challenges would be Deep Breath.
Not in my runners-up list.
Because I think Capaldi is fantastic in it.
He is.
Debut of his Doctor, it's superb.
I do not have it in my runners-up list.
The scene in the cafe.
That is one of the best Series 8 scenes.
Yeah, indeed. it wouldn't get into my top 6.
No, neither.
But it's there or thereabouts. The next one I was going to throw in is purely based off of other people's opinion rather than my own, but the 11th Hour, which I think people generally consider to be the strongest ever sort of new Doctor story.
No, it is not in my list.
I think it's a bit overrated personally.
Yeah, me too, but
it's it's a good story. And then the only other one, and I can't remember the name of it, is the one with the silence in Day of the Moon and
Impossible Astronaut.
Impossible
I have
Astronaut.
got that in my list.
Yeah.
Do you want to know my list?
Yeah.
Got Angels Take Manhattan.
Okay.
I love Angels Take Manhattan. Impossible Astronaut, Day of the Moon.
Yeah.
Dark Water, Death in Heaven.
Yeah.
The Magician's Apprentice, The Witch's Familiar.
Yeah.
Listen, and The Asylum of the Daleks.
Okay. Yeah. I agree they're really good stories, all of those, but I don't think any of them would get into my top.
Neyther would.
None of them are challenging.
Apart from Listen.
Yeah, the only one that would challenge mine is the Zygon invasion. So I think actually, if this was a top 7, I think we would have agreed on our 7.
We probably would have done, yeah.
Yeah. So if we had to narrow that down to 3, I think I can narrow down my 3. I'm pretty sure I can.
Day of the Doctor's got to be in there for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Invasion version, don't know, maybe my personal top 3, but we're going here on our personal top 3. I'll exclude that because that's not in your list, and we'll exclude Listen because that's not in mine. Heaven Sent.
I think Heaven Sent.
And Vincent.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I really like Vincent.
Oh no, it's just the ending scene.
But it is something to see.
Mummy on the Orient Express.
I think Mummy. I think if we were going for 3, it should be Day of the Doctor, Heaven Sent, and Mummy on the Orient Express.
Going for 1, we're going to disagree on this one, maybe. But I'm going to say Day of the Doctor.
Yeah, you know that I'm going to say Heaven Sent.
I do.
But I am willing to give in to that because I think it was such a phenomenal, epic story that delivered so well with the weight and expectation of the 50th anniversary on its shoulders.
And also the 50th, it wasn't the only 50th anniversary thing that was great. There's also Venture in Space and Time, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
There was the Five-ish Doctors reboot, which was very funny.
Yeah. And
there were loads of other little stuff that came out at that time.
There was. But I think by very nature of the fact that it was a real triumph, I think, as a 50th anniversary. It brought us the War Doctor.
Yeah.
It gave us the really fantastic speech of Tom Baker. It brought the Zygons back. It successfully worked in terms of a multi-Doctor story really well. And I always had a feeling that possibly the 10th and 11th Doctor were a bit too similar to work well together, but that actually it did.
It did, yeah. All 3 of them worked very well together. That's the end of 6-episode challenge now, I believe.
Yeah. I think Day of the Doctor stands very well with the others.
I think as if we're going to pick an overall one, it's Genesis.
Yes, I would agree.
But we've been doing this for the last couple of weeks. Really enjoyed it. We're going to move on to something different. We'll reveal that at the end. 6-episode challenge will return to on episode 201, I think, where we're going to be doing our worst 6.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
No, that'd be interesting as well.
Interesting.
So, the last bit of the show this week.
We keep forgetting to do the bits.
Well, I don't think we've because we haven't had too many different sections today. I mean, ordinarily we would put a little divider in between here and the war games, but I just wonder whether rather than talking about the war games in any detail, we should just pick it up in terms of our sort of looking forward to next week.
Should we drop in a couple of thoughts? On what we thought. So just say a little statement of what we think of parts 1 to 3. We've both watched this one before. this is only my second watch. This is only your second watch of the story.
It's selected from the randomiser.
Yes, it's a 10-part epic.
Yeah.
It's Patrick Troughton's last, it's Jamie and Zoe's last, and the first story to feature the Time Lords. It's got a very interesting plot, which we'll talk more about it next week as an overall story, but we'll just let you know what we thought. I
think, just as a very sort of basic one, and I can remember it pretty well anyway from when we watched it before. But
I can't remember it that well, actually. But
based on the first 3 episodes, I think this is a phenomenal story. I think when we did our 6-episode challenge for the 60s, this was in both of our top 6s.
And in our top 3s.
Yeah, indeed. And actually, there's an argument to suggest it's better than Power of the Daleks.
It probably is, but...
But it's very, very close. Very, very close between the two. Patrick Troughton is brilliant in it.
Yes.
His Doctor is absolutely fantastic, I think. In the second episode, there's the bit when he's pretending to be a sort of a prison inspector or whatever, and he's just fantastic.
He is. He's brilliant in this.
The whole concept of the war games, so this game that the warlord, or the Time Lord warlord, is playing, and by bringing people from the history into this sort of game zone, I think is really, really great.
Yeah.
I really like it, and I love the way they play it out. I like the way that when you're watching the first episode, you think it's a Doctor Who set in the war.
Yeah.
You then, in the second episode, they start introducing
other timelines, like the Romans.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and then obviously in episode 3, they then start introducing the fact that they're in that sort of like space station sort of area, or that space base, I guess. So it just the story keeps expanding. Then obviously by the end of it, as we'll come on to when we're talking next week, it takes for the final episode, it goes off into a right tangent, doesn't it?
Yes, but we'll talk more about it. It's a brilliant story. I love it.
I've really loved it, yeah.
We'll talk about it next week on episode 198.
Yeah.
More.
Okay, so it's been an interesting show, hasn't it, really?
It has, a very interesting show.
We've only really had the 2 main items, but they've been really great discussion points, and we'd love to hear what people, what you guys out there think about any of the things we've been discussing.
Yeah, so we'll talk about contact details in a minute.
Yeah.
But next week, it's episode 198, and our main feature is going to be our Dream series, and we'll talk more about what that is. It's a first for us, but we're just going to be doing an interesting 2 articles.
We'll be giving you our full thoughts on the Patrick Troughton era classic, The War Games.
We will be delivering some news and views, probably not as big as this week.
Be hard to beat this week's, wouldn't it?
Yes.
We'll be pressing the magic randomizer button to choose what we will be reviewing the following week.
And that's probably about it.
That probably is about it.
Unless we have so little news that we have chance to do a Who'd Face, which is very unlikely.
It is unlikely, because we like talking.
Yes.
We hope you like listening.
Yeah. Contact details. You could let us know what you thought about Capaldi's exit, or the War Games, or there's a Twitter poll, or the 2010s over at Who Time Space at Twitter. Or you can also let us know, the is an N. You can also let us know what you think about the Your Dream series. So, pick out a couple of episodes that you would like in the series.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't really concept that at the moment. What's your Twitter?
Mark with a C, so it's Mark Freak Geek. I was just going to say, actually, did you want to give people an idea of what the War Games poll's looking like already?
Yeah, I'll just get it up.
Yeah. It's been running for a day or so?
Yeah, I set it up yesterday, I think.
Okay.
So, but at the moment, 80% think it's fantastic, 20% say it's good, and 0% say it's alright or terrible. We'll let you know more results on that next week if we have any more.
Okay. So, brilliant.
Yeah, brilliant show. I think we've had some big news, some big things to talk about, and we've only got 10 weeks left. Oh, a bit of an update though on this Twitter poll. It's changed a bit for what gender should be the next Doctor. 36% say it should be a female Doctor, and 64% say it should be a male Doctor.
So that's the women vote coming in.
Yes.
Pushing these figures up. Thank you very much for joining us this week, as ever, on Doctor Who Time Space. I am Dr. Cool.
And I'm Loose Moon. We'll be back next week, but until then, we'll see you next time. Same time.
Same space.
Ta-ta, bye.